Hello everybody and welcome to episode 5 of the Illicit Lounge. I'm your host Ryan Hayden and today I am joined by a very special guest, Miss Kaycee. Hello
Hi
Kaycee.
Ryan, how are you?
All good, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure to have you. So I suppose let's get into, before we get into the nitty gritty of everything, give us a little introduction and where did you start your taste for music? Where did you, for people that might not know or be too familiar with yourself, how did Kaycee come about?
How Kaycee came about was definitely down to my dad. He was a DJ years ago and he would have influenced me a lot. Just hearing it in the house constantly, I think it was kind of pushed into my brain a bit more than I wanted it to be at sometimes. But you know, it was there, just constantly surrounded by it, and I've no complaints about it. It was absolutely amazing. And
did that lead you into, like, he was teaching you from young how to DJ
yes,
and stuff
he
like
did.
that?
He taught me from a young age, absolutely. Yeah. On records as well, which is a big thing these days.
Course,
but
yeah.
it actually, I was more worried about learning digital than records, and I had to play gloves. I was like, oh, I can play this, but now I have to learn digital. It's like, oh, everyone's like, I want to learn vinyl. I'm like, I want to learn how to play on digital.
Yeah. You were probably told you have to learn the techniques first before you were allowed to.
It was backwards. I was going backwards. Everyone else was going that way. I'm going the other way.
And still, it probably holds to you this day, being able to spin a record though.
Oh, it's nice, yeah. Very expensive.
Yeah, but still, well, it's definitely worth having a skill of being able to, in today's climate as well, where everything is very digital. It's definitely a
absolutely
positive to be able to spin 12 tens, you know. Okay, and I suppose, where did you go from there? How did you get into actually DJing? After that, how did you get into gigs and stuff?
How I got into gigs really was I went to Hangar in District 8, which I'm sure everyone knows.
Sorry. Rest in peace.
I hit the thing.
Don't worry. They will knock out through the mic.
Grand.
But yeah, rest in peace, District 8 and Hangar.
I know.
Not too many clubs left in Dublin these days.
Nope.
No, not good. But yeah, so went from there then. You started. Did you have a conflict of music, like, because you were surrounded by underground music growing up? Did you like, I hate this music, and start listening to something else, or was it something that always stuck with you? You always like were into the underground music?
I was always like, when I was this big, it was always dance music.
Okay.
No matter what I listened to, even
in the teenage years and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, like I mean, when I'm this, like when I was that height.
Yeah.
Like.
Okay.
Looking back on the stuff I used to love as a kid, it was always orientated around dance music or 80s, which is still dance music. Yeah. So that was really, it was kind of set in stone anyway.
Yeah. And would you think that would have a reason as to, like, you'd be quite well known as a multi-genre DJ, which is I wouldn't say hard to come across, because being a DJ, it should all be about the variety of music and enjoying a bit of everything. But I suppose in today's scene, like, you're very much a techno DJ, or you're very much a house DJ, or you know, you're known for the brand of music or the type of music you play. But you tip on a bit of everything. Do you think having that influence from your father when you were young is definitely a part to play in that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's just the old school way, really. I just think years ago, when they were playing clubs and doing their mixes, it was never, I'm just going to do a house mix, I'm just going to do a techno one. It was, you are going to play every single record that you have there. And it was like, it's just an amalgamation of sounds. And that's how the sets were years ago. And I think that's why they were so high energy and so diverse. These days, I find sets are just very kind of flat and just continuous of the same thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Just me personally, I can't get into that. And even me, like, listening, I can't listen for too long and I can't get into it. I find it difficult. I need variety. I need my mind to be.
I'd be very similar in terms of, like, listening to music and genres, and whether it's mixes or whether you're out on a night out. Like, it's when you hear the same kind of BPM, the same genre throughout the whole night, it just becomes a bit monotonous. It's nice to get that surprise. Like, you love getting that surprise when you're in the crowd, or just to hear that, oh, what was that? Like, you know, that kind of that surprise element of a different genre, or switching it up into a garage or maybe a bit of jungle or breakbeat or something from a techno set or whatever. You know, it is definitely nice to hear. But yeah, so you've been busy anyway over the last few years, especially over the last few, I suppose this year alone. Even you've been tipping away. But what would be your standout gig over the last couple of years? Where do you like?
Standout gig? I'd have to be Life Festival, just gone. That was a big one for me.
I was over at District 8, so I didn't even get to leave to go and see them because I was managing the District 8 tent. So I literally couldn't leave to go and check out sets. I didn't even get to see collies, but I seen all the clips from yours. It looks like the crowd had just gotten there and it was just like high energy.
It was really good, and I got really good feedback from that. So like, it's still being said to me, and it was such an amazing experience. Yeah.
Very sad to see that life didn't come back this year, but they're on to bigger and better things.
Oh, 100%.
That District X Festival looks insane.
Great lineup.
Such a good lineup. Yeah.
No,
and again, going back to the variety of having different, like they've really nailed it with in terms of variety. You've got a bit of everything in there.
That's it.
Like I think Interplanetary Criminal is there as well. So you've got your UKG, you've got your house, you've got your techno. It's a bit of everything for everybody, you know, which is great to see. Exactly, yeah, how it should be. But the fact that it's like 20,000 people in the one day, and I think it's 20,000.
It is 20,000, yeah.
But that's only one day. It's not a 2 day or 3 day thing, isn't it? It's everything's happening in one day. Yeah, yes. It's
one
like
day.
Forbidden Fruit Buzz, but without the second day. Yeah.
Kind of like
one day of carnage, like, huh?
I kind of like the one day festivals better. Like,
it's
I used
to
when I was younger. So I'm old now. When I was younger, I used to like the 3 day festivals.
The camping is half the buzz, though. Like, I know, obviously, the music and that's what you're there for, and the crowd and the energy. But how can you not like having a bit of messing back in the campsite?
You wake up the next day and you're literally like.
Trick is just don't go to sleep.
I'm doing it wrong. Yeah, no, it's just when you wake up the next day and you look around and everyone's just like this, and there's rubbish everywhere. It just feels icky, and I can't deal with it anymore. Even just being there and not staying, I'm like, can't wait to go home.
Yeah, no, it does get to that stage. Like the one day festivals, I suppose that getting in and getting out, but also getting to have the crack, and it's harm reduction as well in a way, because you know people aren't going flat for the 3 days, not hydrating, not whatever, and you have less incidents. And today more than ever, I suppose, with the way things have gone with prices and, you know, the SEOs and how much the SEOs still cost and how much everything in general still costs, your taxes, your fees. It's just so expensive to run gigs, festivals. Like we've seen so many festivals drop out this year as well. Did you ever get the chance to do Body and Soul or anything like that?
No, it's on my list
as well. Well, it's gone now. It's not back this year.
No. Yeah, no, I've seen that, but I think they're taking a break.
Oh, it's only a break this year and they're coming back the following year.
I think so.
Grand. Yeah. Beyond the Pale as well. Have you been down to that or anything?
I'm going to go to that this year.
Yeah. I heard great reports about last year.
So have I.
Yeah. Have you anything you can reveal about festivals maybe for this summer? Have you anything locked in yet, or anything you can talk about, or are we not allowed yet?
I'm not allowed because they're not fully gone to contract yet.
Right. Okay. So,
but there is some big appearances coming. Definitely.
There is some stuff in the pipeline for this summer. So you were very busy last summer with the festival, so you were flat out. So we've more in the pipeline to look forward to.
Yeah, 100%.
Deadly. Happy days. Kaycee, let's go back to your productions as well, because that's something that people might not know about you, is that you were working hard in the background on music as well as being a DJ. Can you
working hard or trying to work hard or trying to work hard?
Have you any releases kind of coming up, or are you still in the works of like trying to perfect your craft?
So I actually only got masters back today for my first 3. I have something trancey, I have something proggy. Well, when I say proggy, it's more like housey prog than trance.
Okay.
And then I have a nice little techno one as well. So it's...
At least you're sticking to that multi-genre buzz. Most definitely, you're not like...
I knew that was going to happen.
Look, that's again, variety is the spice of life.
Frankenstein.
Variety is the spice of life, as I always say. Like it's definitely good to put your eggs in many baskets instead of sticking them in the one, you know.
But also, I do feel like that hasn't really stood to me in a way. I feel like pigeonholing is a big thing in every music scene, not just here in Dublin. I think it's like you're either a this DJ, you're either a that DJ. Promoters like to put you in a category, and that's you in that box over there, and that's another box of people, and I don't like that. So it kind of is a good thing to have and a good skill to have, because if you're mixing different genres, you're going to be able to learn different skills, different ways of mixing.
Most definitely.
Be more creative in that way.
Most definitely.
Where if you're just mixing with a 4/4 kick and this, that and the other, like there's not much you can really do with that.
Like with your disco and house, you're going to have a lot more vocals coming in at points. You need to know when to loop or when to bring out a track or whatever, compared to if you're playing like just hardcore techno, like where it is,
there's
as you said, really it's predominantly just a kick and a bass and just drums in general. Like it's a lot easier to kind of chop in and out and stuff. So
exactly, different style of mixing, different style of chopping, and you know where disco and like progressive trance and house, like they'd be more like a blend. And like I find even like I don't say you have to mix and key. I'm not one of those people. I think you could have 2 different songs that are 2 different keys and they can sound amazing together. But I do find if you're gonna be kind of sticking to those more melodic-y tracks, mixing in key is really kind of gonna really amplify that sound, and it's gonna make a new track out of that.
100%. So like, for the blends, essentially, because you're blending the 2 tracks together with the harmonies mixing together, whereas if you're mixing with just the drums, you can like loop it at the drums before, even if it's out of key, you're looping it at the drums before essentially the key comes in with the sounds of the synth, so you can there's just a lot more thought that kind of goes on
for different genres of music. Obviously, there is still a lot of thought for techno, and it still is like, you know, but it's more percussion based. Whereas when you're dealing with harmonies, melodies, and all this stuff, that's when it gets complicated, and that's when you're really going to have to be thinking ahead and going, okay, what can I do here to switch this up? What can I do? Oh, maybe I'll bring a bit of like that breakbeat and that part there and try get out of it this way, or you know, you have to really think about it.
Yeah. And in your personal, like what you listen to personally, like driving in the car or at home, would you be just constantly dance music, or do you like a bit of everything? Any hip hop? Is there any external, I suppose, influences that come into your music?
Debating whether I should answer this truthfully.
By all means.
I love Wham.
I grew up on Wham. And I used to constantly play it.
Best thing ever.
Can't beat a bit of George Michael. You can't beat a bit of George Michael. Definitely. No, nothing. No, you'd be.
Just probably Wham, dance music, 80s.
Yeah. So now when you get a bit of a headache and it's just 444, you don't have anything to. You have nothing to wind down. You listen. You go to sleep with techno playing in your earphones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Jesus. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah.
More like the synthy stuff, maybe like a little bit of Italo or something.
Okay, yeah. I see it. No
So
jazz.
I'd
You don't like
sleep
a bit
to
of jazz
Italo.
or...
I like jazz, but I wouldn't really have much of it on my Spotify playlists. I like I actually like a lot of big beat as well, which is like, it's kind of like breakbeat, but it's more kind of, it'd be very like almost plump DJ.
Right.
You know?
Okay. Yeah.
I like a lot of that and electro as well.
Electro, yeah, that's making a bit of a big comeback now at the moment.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it used to be really big years ago.
There's a lot of electro-y kind of stuff I'm seeing coming out at the moment. I think I even seen, was it Coulter? Joko Coulter?
Yeah.
He has a new alias now. I only seen him coming out today. That Lowrider tune from music. You know that tune?
Oh, yeah.
He has a complete edit of it and it's mad electro-y and stuff like that. I've seen it creeping up in a lot of tracks now lately, that electro buzz, yeah?
Yeah.
Seems to be making a big comeback.
Yeah, no, 100%. No, I agree.
Trance obviously as well.
That was coming back for so long. And like my dad even said it. He was like, I'm telling you, it's coming back. And I was like, okay, whatever, Ken. You know, it's like, yeah, you just want to live your glory days. I'm only messing. I'm sorry, Dad. I was only
Ken's
joking.
going to kill you.
Yeah, he's going to go.
Yeah, like all music is really like that though, isn't it? It's the same with, like, as they say about house music, like it always does end up coming back around as well.
It does.
Different trends come and go, but it always comes back to...
It's like fashion. Fashion is constantly turning and just looping itself. Like they're all constantly influenced by the decades, and it's the same thing with music.
100%. Yeah, no, I'd agree. Definitely. And you were playing a lot of club gigs around Dublin over the last while, especially I seen with Reception. You were there with them boys.
Yeah.
They're doing making waves at the moment. With
I love them. I have a lot of respect.
I have to say they've creeped up after the pandemic and just really smashed it out now. They're doing a lot of big gigs over in Centrepoint. It was a Centrepoint you played with them, or?
No, it was actually So Below. Yeah, God,
I haven't checked out that club yet. I still haven't checked that club out yet.
Do you know what it reminds me of? I don't know if anyone's going to agree with me here, okay? But the way I like to describe it, it's like a fluffier wigwam.
Okay, interesting. I've seen videos of it, and it does. Lights. Yeah, and it has the low ceilings and everything. Yeah, I've seen that, but I like the lights that run along the ceiling. That's not really something I've seen in Dublin. It's a very kind of Londonish thing, or
it is
kind of IBD kind of. Yeah, it's just different.
I just call it Fluffy Wigwam. Where you playing Fluffy Wigwam?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And have you any other kind of collectives or crews that you'd like to shout out that you've been playing with over the last while that you've enjoyed playing with?
Definitely Alien Project, definitely Mood Drada. Obviously you guys as well, like you have been doing such big things, you know, and I would like to give them a bit. I know I wasn't playing, but I would like to.
No, 100%. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You know,
we're trying.
Yeah, no, there's some big collectives out there and they're doing bits, you know.
It's been, I find the scene is very, not in a bad way, but very different pre-COVID to post-COVID. It's very, very different out there in terms of not just what people are listening to, but how's the best way to describe it? Like, back in the day, pre-COVID, like you go out, you'd be doing pre-drinks, then you go to the club, then you might end up at like one of the book club after parties, then you might end up in Ned's. Like there was no kind of limit as to like how long you were going to be out or where you were going, or like, whereas now it just feels like everything is just rushed and done, and like there's no, what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's the love in it isn't. It's like, do you get where I'm trying to get? Like
it's not the passion in us. It's
there's still so many crews out there that are doing amazing things. It's not that I'm trying to bash what people are doing out there, but it just feels different compared to pre-COVID.
I think we just don't have that much resources for them things anymore. I don't know what it is. I was actually only having this conversation with my dad as well. He put it down to me being old. Okay, and
Maybe there's a little bit of that, yeah. Like
Yeah.
COVID kind of affected us in that way, where like we just missed out in a couple of years, and now 30s are creeping up, and I'm kind of scared. But
when I think back and I'm thinking about Hanger, like what
was just
it?
different back then.
Toast.
It was just different back
Toast
then,
and
wasn't it?
Like South William, everything. Like I get goosebumps, and like they were the days. And
Like
now,
you go out on a Wednesday and it would be heaved with people, like upstairs and down, club full, garden full, and it would be like you could be playing party tunes, whereas now everyone's just out and they just want the heavy stuff. Like
maybe
it
that's
was,
the problem. Maybe it's just
I
kind
wouldn't
of.
put it just down to the music, but I think a lot of it is maybe the country as well and the way things have gone, how
That's-
expensive everything is. Back then you could go out with a 20 quid in your pocket, get
€2
home,
drinks.
still get drunk. Exactly.
Vipsy.
Whereas it's gone so expensive now, and I think that might have a big part to play
Yeah.
in why it's not as lively or active as it used to be.
Yeah, I do feel the music has taken a bit of a hit on it as well, though. Like if you walk into a club at 10 o'clock, you're hearing boom, boom, boom.
From
boom,
the very
boom,
beginning,
boom.
exactly.
Yeah, you never, like, not that you never had that, but it's more like,
But you had more variety, I suppose. Like you could go
Yeah.
to a midweek gig and it's just predominantly techno or trance or whatever it might be. You might be hitting like 140 BPM from the minute you walk in. Whereas I find like some of them parties back then, if you want the techno, go on to the techno room and you will get that from the beginning of the night. But people kind of tend to come in, have a drink, maybe let's say Toast, for example. They go into the garden, a couple of party tunes to sing along to, hands in the air, kind of feel good vibe, chat to your mates. And that way the night nearly lasted longer because you're not just going in, hearing the heavy techno, getting wrecked and just going straight away. There was more of a slower pace to it. Whereas I feel like people just, there's no pace anymore. They just want to
It's
get out
rushing,
and
it's
rush,
just-
just get fucked and get dancing and get to the after party and get home and cry in your bed for 3 days. You know, it's
I can relate to that.
yeah, I feel that's kind of the way it's gone. But yeah, so
It is.
anything else?
It is very rushed. And you know what? On top of it being rushed, I will also say there is a big positive to it. I find that TikTok has actually helped us in the dance music scene. Now, this is very controversial of me to say. And
We're going to get very controversial here, yeah, because this is the whole TikTok thing is something I'd like to discuss as well. So I'd like to hear your opinion on it first.
My opinion is, I personally, look, I'm not a fan of the stuff that's being played. I'm not a fan of some of the crowds that it is bringing and some of the people it's bringing. But you're going to get that in every scene. But I think for the last kind of couple of years, and especially after COVID, our scene needs nothing more but a younger generation to come in, and it needs that turnover and it needs them fresh faces. And you know what's going to happen? I know the music isn't for us, but what's going to happen is the same thing that happened for me, the same thing that happened for you. Someone's going to break that for them, whether it be, I don't know, like it could be me or you. They could walk in and see us, play. Oh, what's that they're playing? Kind of like that. They're going to go home, think about that, try find that stuff on Spotify.
Yeah,
That's going to make
it's that
someone-
entry level into the dance music, and again, like I look at both positives and negatives to the whole TikTok thing, because at the same time it's bringing people in that might necessarily be into dance music, but then they see the whole thing on TikTok and the videos and the reels of the big massive shows with the heavy music, and that's what they kind of adapt to. Not that I'm putting down that sound of music, but it's nearly like the new EDM to a sense, where it's like it attracts that crowd. Not necessarily a bad thing though, although okay, they might have their phones out the whole time during the gig and they're putting everything up on their TikToks and their stories. Remember, that's still the entry level. Do you remember when we first started going out, that was like that deep house sound that brought it in for me, that like old Route 94 MK sound, that Talk to Me tune, what was it, Look Right Through,
MK,
Route 94, My Love, all of that kind of stuff. When we first got into that, I would have been guilty as being there with the phone out at the start. Like it was just because I knew the one song I was going to see the DJ, but eventually my taste developed and it brought me, and I think it's the same thing, like yeah, it's a young 18, 19-year-old crowd that, or it could be even 20, 21, that didn't get to go out during COVID. They're only getting to go out now, and this is the only music that's been put in front of them because that's what they see on TikTok. But at the same time, the big thing and the big gripe I have with TikTok is the attention spans, and I feel that's what's affecting music. Because people say it's called TikTok brain, and so if your attention span, like we didn't have this whole swipe thing pre-COVID. So there was like, you'd be scrolling, but you wouldn't be looking for a video that catches your attention within 2 seconds. And I feel that it's that whole attention span thing that of that doesn't interest me, that doesn't interest me, that doesn't interest me. It's the same with music. It's if it's not quick and fast and give me the energy quick, then it's not interesting. There's no patience when it comes to dance music anymore. There's no wanting the build up, wanting the warm up. They just want action straight away, and I'm putting that down to TikTok.
I'm so glad you said that, because
Do you agree though?
I find it with mixing. I find a lot of people are rushing mixes, and now, like, I am very guilty of this myself because I feel like the crowd are getting bored, and I'm like, oh god. And now here, I play a lot of old school. A lot of them are 8-minute tracks. I'm not playing the full 8 minutes. I know my places to get out, but I need to at least play 4 or 5 minutes. I'm not gonna mix at 2 minutes.
Yeah,
you know, and like a lot of my friends that were newer DJs, I just learned the old school way. You shoot me, okay? But they all used to slag me. They'd be like, oh god, like you drag your mixes out and stuff. And I was like, well, I'm actually at the right mixing point, but maybe you're right. And I kind of did think about it. And I remember like being at home one day and I'd mixed too quick and my dad was just like, what are you doing? I was just like, so I'm just trying to get out of it. And he goes, no. He goes like, you know how to do this. And I was like, yeah, I know, but everyone's starting to get bored. And I have actually noticed it when I'm playing gigs that they just don't have the attention span there.
To wait for the build up.
They just don't. And even as you said, the warm up set, there is warm up sets, but the warm up sets are still a lot faster.
Yeah.
They're warm up
but
sets.
But it's even if you look at house music, like back then it was like anywhere from 122 BPM up to maybe 128 max. Now it's nearly starting at 130, like straight up. It's just 130 BPM. not that I have anything against it. Like I'm the same. I am guilty for it as well. I can't even remember the last time I started to mix lower than like 128. But
yeah, sure.
Do you get what I mean? It is. We're all guilty of it, whether we like it or not. We all still go home and sit there and flick through reels and TikToks for hours on end.
Yeah.
So it's not just the younger. It's not just the younger generation that's been affected by it. So I'm not trying to put them down for anyone out there that might think I'm trying to put them down. I'm not, because I'm very guilty of it myself.
Brian's starting on kids.
Say nothing. No, I'm not trying to put anybody down, and it's just a discussion, I suppose, and it is a controversial topic, and I hope we don't get too much backlash over it. But I do feel like it does need to be talked about. Like, it is definitely something that is affecting dance music at the moment, is that kind of TikTok brain. Yeah.
No, and I fully agree with you, and you're not the first person that has said this. And I think everyone kind of has the mutual opinion of it. Nobody really does take offense. Like, with everything, there's good and there's bad, so there's positive and negatives. What you did say though about the BPMs, I have a thing with BPMs, right?
Okay.
And I don't know if it's just me, but I don't believe in them. Like, not that I know they're a thing and I know they're a number, but like, people get fixated on the number when like you should be focusing on the energy of a track. If you're mixing or if you are doing a warm-up set, and I'm just saying this for anyone who is starting off, literally it doesn't matter if I've a track that's 128 or 138. Those tracks, it does not matter on the number. The 138 track could sound slower than the 128.
Just about to say that sometimes you can have a track that is lower BPM,
energy,
but the pace of the drums inside or the percussions will speed it up, and then it could be the opposite where it sounds really slow but it's still a fast BPM.
Yeah, exactly. And like, as you do progress as a DJ, you kind of pick this up. But I'm just mentioning it for anyone that is looking to start DJing or is kind of thinking about it. Forget about the numbers and listen. And they do say your ears are the best tools, and just 100%. Use them.
Coming from the woman herself, she learned on the vinyls.
I need to learn myself.
No, you've learned
I need to learn that myself.
Even you're talking about the blends there though, and about how your dad was giving out to you for mixing out too quick. Like,
he's right, and he's absolutely right. Even I hear sometimes, I'm like, ooh, and like, I'm still kind of doing it. Like, I was going through tracks for like a gig I'm playing on Saturday. It's Matt Guy in Centrepoint, and I was having a look and I was like, oh yeah, grand. And I thought the mixing point was way sooner. I was like, oh, what are you doing, Kaycee? Like, I kind of caught myself doing it, and I was like,
but there's more freedom to do it on like digital than you've learned on vinyl. So your whole thing is like catching the blends, and you know what I mean. Like, you have to blend them, because you can't, like, unless you're an absolute wizard and you're just like in and out. Like, you're constantly having to adjust it on the vinyl, and so it's a lot harder to just do quick blends and quick mixes when you're on vinyl compared to CDJs, where you can just loop the kick, bring in the next one. As soon as the drop comes, loop it again, bring in the next one. Like, it's so easy to just do the swapsies on the digital.
I still, and it's funny. Like, and I only notice when I am actually mixing with someone else that, like, I still do take those like old school ways into it that I actually would rarely use loops. I just know, it's like I just know where the cue point is. I know where it is, and I know where like the proper phasing is going to happen. It's like, it just goes off my head. I'm like, right, that's it.
But that is the joys of learning on vinyl compared
It
to
is.
starting off on CDJs.
It
you know?
is, but I would like to be more creative because I'm just flat mixing half the time. Then I'm realizing, oh, I could have looped that vocal there, but I'm just kind of, it's just like autopilot.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
would
I
like
get
to be more creative with it.
Whereas
you
I'd be
know,
guilty for the opposite way. Like I love my chopping and I love my like looping and I still like to blend as well, but I'm a fucker for chopping and catching the right vocal and just like you know, like where you can just do
Yeah.
cool little tricks. Like
Yeah.
I like that style of mixing, so I am
I
guilty
actually,
for
I
that.
really love your style of mix, and same as
Appreciate
Collie.
it.
Yeah.
No, it is. It's fun, but it's hard to
Yeah.
master as well because there's so much room for mistake. It's like, do you ever see your man James Hype? Like that fella. Like maybe not fully my style of music, but he's a wizard on the decks, and like technically the
advanced.
man is an absolute genius with it. Like, and I guarantee he puts hours upon hours of work. Like I've seen some of the videos he's put up and like the errors he's made and the little saves, and like it's very daunting to some people put like the digital thing down and like, oh no, you're not mixing if you're not on vinyl, but I can stand up for the digital DJs here and say like it's not an easy way of mixing at all, you know, and it's there is a lot of room for mistakes. People think just because it's a piece of equipment and you can click a loop, oh that's cheating, or
I don't think that at all.
definitely
I don't.
No, I'm not saying you do, but just for the
there's a
people
lot
out there or the listeners, like there's a lot of different styles of mixing, and I think whether you're using a control, personal opinion, whether you're using a controller, whether you're using vinyl, it doesn't make a difference. Once that music sounds good, that's all that should matter.
That's it. And you know, and it's exactly what I said. It's, you know, every track is different and every mix is going to be different. And if you're mixing the same way throughout the whole thing, yeah, it's fine. But you can add those little kind of tricks and, you know,
100%.
in to make it a bit more
Yeah.
kind of sparkly, I suppose.
And bring up another controversial point since we're being
You're gonna
very
get me
controversial
cancelled.
today. No, not at all. I just want to know your opinion on what did you think of that whole Coachella thing? Did you see the DJ that her decks
Oh,
went
Grimes.
wrong? Yeah. What's your opinion on that whole situation? In terms of like, do you think DJs in this day and age, like the whole influencer DJ thing that gets slots at the big massive festivals that might not necessarily have the skills to be there, they're pre-recording their sets, or they're like, technically if something goes wrong and your BPMs aren't shown, you should still be able to mix it in, no? Yes.
I'm really bad at maths, so I felt her there. I'd be like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
felt her there,
like,
but I would have got my phone out and I would have been doing it.
you would have been trying to like,
Yeah,
I thought it was just very
juggling.
abrasive to just go on the mic and be like, yeah, it was a weird kind of announcement to make at such a big stage, to be like, would you not even just be like, here, sound engineer, get the fuck over here, like sort this out, like, you know what I mean? I don't know, it was just a bit controversial the way she done it. It was all over the media, social media.
She didn't. I don't like how she didn't take responsibility, but I can feel for her, because if that was me, I would just have like such a level of frustration and embarrassment. I think
I wouldn't even go.
I wouldn't even. I would have just said. I actually wouldn't have even explained myself. I probably just would have said, "I'm sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties," and walked off. But I think she was just in such a state of fear and panic, and it was such a big. It, like, you know, regardless of who she is, what she does, how she got there, still a big gig. It still did mean something to her, I'm sure.
100%.
But
I think what the controversial thing was her excuse for it afterwards. Did you read it?
no, I didn't. I just heard that she was basically saying that someone else is that it?
So she basically put the blame on someone else. She didn't have time to get her set for Coachella, basically one of her biggest gigs ever. She got someone else to download the music and put it on the USB, and she didn't do it herself or like pick the songs, or just basically handed the USB and was like, throw tracks on that.
Yeah.
So she put the blame on somebody else, basically.
Yeah. So she gave someone else her homework really to do.
Yeah. So like kind of real one of being a DJ, really do your homework, no? Do your own homework.
Yeah, I know, 100%. But like that, like, not that she doesn't deserve to be there, but
No,
she should have had
Jesus,
a
not
bit
that I'm
more-
saying. Yeah,
she
no,
should
not
have had
that
a bit more control in that situation, and she, like, that's her responsibility, you know. But maybe
I see it
she
does-
is that famous that maybe she just has that much money, and we're all the losers that are doing our own work.
No, there was just so much outrage I seen from so many people that were like, give it to a DJ that deserves it, give it to someone that can actually
Yeah, I
do
get
this.
that.
Like,
No, I get that. Absolutely. Like, there's so many great DJs out there. Like Kerry Chandler. Give it to Kerry Chandler. Do you know what I mean? But like,
Stop. A
yeah,
good Irish hero, Kerry Chandler.
he's great.
Loved here. Did you see him playing, going to the Drinking Cans at Live Festival? Down
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, there's so many stories about him at Live Festival, actually. Brahim and Hamo, do you remember when they threw the record up to him as well? Did you hear that one?
Oh.
So he was like in the middle of a set and they had the record, like they just brought out, and they literally frisbeed it up to him while he was playing, and he apparently slapped it on, queued it up, had a quick listen on the headphones and was like, yeah, killed, and just dropped it there and then on the spot, like.
Nice.
Yeah, sick.
That's nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Not
That'd
many
be,
people
like,
could
that'd
say
be
that.
something to look back on and be like, yeah.
Wow,
Kerry
that's a
Chandler
moment in
type of film.
history.
I know, yeah, it's pretty cool. Have you listened to, I don't know if it was Brahim or Hammer or which one it was, but his solo stuff now, Spray.
I actually never know which was which. Oh,
Yeah,
so
either, but
Tiernan.
Spray is actually Tiernan.
Yeah.
He was part of Brahim and Hammer, wasn't he?
Yeah, he
I'm
was.
sure.
Yeah.
Jeez, I thought I was saying something wrong there.
No,
he is. He was.
but
yeah.
I could never tell who was who. I didn't know who was Brahim.
I always got confused as well.
So-
But big fan. I know you like your proggy stuff. Like he's big fan of Spray.
Oh yeah, and do you know what's really funny? He actually booked me for a gig to support Malgrab a couple of years ago. It was just after COVID, and
In Dublin or
it was in Sligo.
In Sligo, where he's from, yeah.
Yeah, and like I was looking at him, and I see he looks kind of familiar. An absolutely lovely guy. I come home from this gig and gave my dad the brief of it. As I always do, I kind of have the chats of like, how were the oh yeah, they were great, or or this wasn't, or just a little bit of feedback. I was like, no, like these promoters great. Yeah, Ricky was there. Yeah, great guys. Didn't think much about it. My dad turns around, and it was a couple of weeks after that, and he was just like, Kaycee, is Spray Brahim Heyman? And I was like, yeah, it's actually funny enough. I says, there was a fella that looked like one of them at Sligo. Actually, he really looked like him. And he goes, that Spray and thing are they're the
Same person.
the same person. And I was like, I have to check this out. And then I don't know what I did. I went on to I think his Instagram or something, and I was like, no way.
It was him.
It was him. And I listened to him as Spray, and I was just like, oh my God. And then it was just the dots were dotting.
I'll top that one.
My dad was like, you physically met Tiernan, and you didn't even know it was him. And I was just like, I'm an idiot. And he was just like, he goes, you're not my child now, that's it.
I'll be able to top that one. I was over at Parklife in Manchester playing a gig, and after the gig, the next day I was that hanging. I didn't even bother doing day two because I was already after been playing in Izakaya the night before.
Yeah.
Hadn't slept, straight to the airport, straight there. So I was bollocks. Didn't go and do day two. We're like, fuck it, we just go get a bit of food. Went over to, it's not called Sizzlers, it's called it's like an Italian place that's
Cecil's. No.
I can't remember the name. It's something like that. It's Zizi's or something.
Oh,
like that.
Zizi.
Is
Yeah,
that, it's like an
Zizi.
Italian place over in
Yeah,
England. There's a lot of them in
is
England.
it near Andrews Lane, is it?
No, this isn't here. This is
Oh,
over in
it's-
Manchester.
sorry.
Sorry, yeah. But so anyways, sitting there eating, and next of all, Malgrab walks in to get a bit of food, and I'm like, that's Malgrab. That is Malgrab. This is like fanboying him. That's Malgrab. So he comes over with his whole crew and sits down at the table and is chatting to me, missus, and I'm like, that's Malgrab over there. Like, oh, I'm gonna get a picture, and she's like, oh, don't be embarrassing. Don't just leave him. Just leave him. And I was like, I have to get a picture.
Yeah.
So I went over to the whole crew. Like, hey, Malgrab, hey, big fan. Any chance to get a picture? And everyone's like looking real kind of awkward. And I hand them my phone. I get in the picture, point at Malgrab and everything. And then after doing my research and seeing them putting up a picture, I realised that I had only asked for Malgrab's picture when he was sitting there with like Hammer. It was Malgrab, Hammer, fucking who else was it?
Probably Bicep as well.
No, Ludes was there. Like the whole crew, like of people I actually were listening to, but didn't know what they looked like. Weren't staying up to date with what they look like on Instagram or anything. So I didn't know what they looked like, and I could have asked for a picture with the whole fucking crew of them. And I'm sure that's why they were looking awkward, because they're like, this motherfucker's not asking for a picture with me, but they just want Malgrab, like, you know, that way. So I was like, I felt so bad after. I was like,
You would, but
idiot,
like you're tunnel vision at that point. Like,
yeah. That was funny. That was going back like confused. When we went, no. I think it was the first year. Yeah, you didn't come with me the first year. You came with me the second year, was it? You done both years? Yeah. So which one? It was the one with did Becky come with you with both years as well, yeah?
The first year.
And then,
I went home the second year.
Well then, yeah, I think it was, second year, yeah. But,
oh,
no, that was embarrassing.
yeah, no,
that was embarrassing.
look, I, do you know what?
I just felt bad in the DJ because, imagine being that DJ and just being like, oh, this cunt Malgrab.
Yeah, sick of this guy.
Sick of this guy taking all the fucking fame. Like,
Oh, not
we
again.
make good tunes too, you know.
What about
But yeah, it was a bit awkward, but sure, look.
And look, they are all of them. Yeah, top producers, top guys. But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Big fans, and now obviously Evan coming on with them as well. Tommy and Kedema are smashing it now as well. Like to look at how far they've come from back then is
even like it wasn't Kedema was playing some. Did he not do something big with Party Boy recently? Was that Coachella?
That was Coachella. That was, and the size of the stage they were playing at as well. I was like, what? Yeah, that looks sick. Sick.
I
Fair
just
play,
went
like
passed out.
yeah,
in
no,
front
fair
of that
play.
many
The two
people.
boys like Ketma and Tommy as well, like to come that far. Sam done a good job with them, I have to say.
Oh yeah,
Fair play to them,
absolutely.
big
No,
ups, like-
yeah, no. Jesus, yeah.
And big ups to them because they stuck with it and they really just made their mark in the scene. Like some people, they can bring, you know, you might bring out a good tune or two and then you get big for a while.
Yeah.
And it dies off, but they grafted and they stuck with it.
They did. And they still do to this day. It's not like...
The Samba Boys, have you seen? I haven't actually gotten lucky enough to see any of their sets, but them two playing together. And they play together with the Samba Boys.
Yeah,
and
I've heard.
It's the more hard groove stuff as well, so
nice.
It's a little different to what they both play.
No, it is.
Themselves.
It's really nice. No,
it's good to see Irish. Like Irish is really doing. Irish artists in general are booming at the moment. It's great to see.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Especially after COVID, it kind of could have went like it was always going to go one way or the other. But I did notice, like, kind of just coming up to COVID, there was a bit of a dip off there. But then I don't know. Maybe it was COVID.
Maybe it was COVID, and people were just stuck in the studios getting busy because there was nothing else to do.
Yeah, like it ruined a lot of things for people. But it also made a lot of dreams come true for some, you know.
It made a lot of people realise what they actually wanted to do. Because they realised, I think, that how quick things can change in life and how, like, the amount of people that just didn't go back to a job that they were doing for years because they just, like, were like, no, fuck this, like, I actually want to enjoy life or go do this instead. Or they actually got the balls to go and try something that they never thought they'd do because of COVID, you know. So look at the negative and the positives of it, you know. You're mentioning that you're playing in Centre Point on Saturday, did you say? Yeah. That's for Mackay?
Mackay, yeah.
Brilliant. Is that is that with different collectives, or is it just the one crew that are running it? Is
I think it is Centre Point, and I also think that it's them teaming up with Housework, which is actually really nice to see, isn't it? Like two collectives working together. I always love that.
Yeah, definitely. I like, we team up with a lot of collectives. I like it's benefits both. It's you're interacting with each other's crowds, you're getting more of a following, and today it's just so expensive to run gigs. Like we've kind of stepped away a little bit from the big international gigs and stuff because it's just like, it's the way I describe being a promoter is being a gambler. And it literally is like, it's like, let's say your show costs $5,000. It's like going into the bookies and throwing $5,000 on the table and being like, I bet you $5,000 everyone's going to show up to my party. And if they show up, I make $2,000 or $3,000. And if they don't, well, I lose me $5,000. That's literally essentially what you're doing. Like,
and do you know, see the way you say that? The way we have like barely any clubs in Dublin as is, and we still can't fill the ones that we have.
Yep.
Why is that? Like, we have like four big ones. I know we have obviously the commercial-esque ones as well, which is fine, but
again, it boils down to money. Like the whole thing of them closing. Why do you think that majority of the smaller venues are also restaurants? If you've noticed that majority of them are. They're restaurants during the week, and because you need that stream of revenue during the week. And being a nightclub, you're not going to be open 7 days a week getting money coming in.
You're screwed.
So your big Friday and Saturday night isn't going to be enough to cover all your bills. You have 2 big nights and then you're closed for the rest of the week. You can't suffice like that. So that's why I think a lot of them are closing down. The ones that would have been able to operate because their fees weren't as high and their insurance wasn't as high. Like, insurance has skyrocketed since COVID, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So it's all these little things that I think are really having an effect on the club, because that, and then the price of drink and everything that's gone up, that people aren't spending as much as they were. People go out and, drink was a bit cheaper, but they were buying more of it because it was cheap. Whereas now it's like, they'll get a couple of pre-drinks in, a few pint cans in the gaff before they go out, and then they go out and they might only buy 2 or 3 drinks while they're out, and then bottle of vodka back in the gaff after, like, grand, we're sorted for a drink afterwards. Like, that's having an effect on the club as well, because they're not getting as much income coming in, and therefore they're not making revenue. Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah. And do you know what? Another thing, taxis.
Another big. Every day when you try and get a taxi on a weekend, it feels like it's Paddy's Day every weekend.
It does.
Literally.
Even me coming home from a gig, I'll pre-book it, and it's like, forget about it. I'm not here. And I'm like,
no, I drive in now. I've just decided to just stop drinking and just drive in.
Yeah.
We usually either come back here or back to one of the lads' gaffs, and I'll have maybe 1 or 2 there when I get back. But I'm not arsed with taxis anymore.
No, I hate giving them the money. Like, I actually hate it. It was only out a couple of weeks ago. One of my friends, it was actually Liam. He was like, why are you getting the bus home? And I was just like, he goes,
Dublin 2024, baby.
I was like, because I just refuse to give them any more money. Like, it's 40 quid home. I'm only in Blanchardstown.
Try 80 euro. When I was living out in Russia, I was paying 80.
Ooh.
That's what made me start driving in instead. Because I was paying extortionate rates going home. And then even when we first started off, we going back 9 years ago nearly now, when we started doing it in Sweeney's basement. And that was like when we first started off, the party was every Thursday. So, and I was in work the next day. So it was like, 50 quid, 40, 50 quid, I think it cost me 9 years ago to get home each Thursday. And we only made something like like we didn't charge in, it was free entry, and we got like a fee. I think was it 100 or 150 if even, and still had to try and pay the DJs out of that. Like, so I was literally out of my own pocket every week just to get home, like 40, 50 quid just to get home. Like,
yeah, like.
And now that has gone up to 80 quid just for me to get home. It's doubled in the last 9 years.
I remember coming out in town, like going to Sin, another big one.
Shout out to Sin. Like, that was kind of the originator of going out, like that deep house sound, like I mentioned earlier. Like, when I heard,
pioneer of it,
there was
100%.
like, where can we go that will have house music? Sin. Even if it's a Sunday night, where are we going that's going to have house music? Sin. Yeah.
Great nightclub. Them stairs nearly took my life too many times.
As well. I've never seen anywhere else that done that as well. 50 quid, drink all night as much as you want.
Yeah, that
was insane.
Wristbands.
Haven't seen it.
It was 40 for a while, and then
they, I think they dipped up to 450. Yeah, but
just
still,
they're
like,
making money off it. But like 50
€50
so
and you
good.
could drink as much. Now, I think they were smart about it. You couldn't be like, oh, yeah, give us two. And
you couldn't get doubles,
and
you could only get it. Yeah, they were watching who was coming to the bar. Obviously,
they were smart about it, but still, it's a good little initiative.
That was a promotion tactic. Like, even like, I probably wouldn't have went out and spent €50 on drinks, but
not back then.
Back then, I was like, wow, like, I'm probably gonna be drinking for the whole night anyway. And I think it was just a thing that I thought I was getting something out of, but I probably would have only drank about €30.
This is you probably would have only drank about €30 worth, but you don't realise. You know,
there's no tricks.
No.
That's what they're missing.
No. Yeah.
They're missing trying to get more money out of us.
Yeah. Temple bar prices nowadays, like,
gross.
Fucking €8-9 a pint. Who can afford that these days? Huh?
No.
Madness.
It's like a mortgage at this point. Like, it's just
insane. It's insane. But look, we won't get too political. We'll go back into the music. We'll get back into the music. You are playing on Saturday in Centre Point. Have you any other gigs that you'd like to shout out that you have upcoming or that you're allowed to talk about at the moment?
I'm playing a very secret party on June 1st, which I'm very excited about, and that's with Alien Projects. So go give them a follow. It's a really cool venue, and I'd hate for
Is it the same venue that you were playing like a few years ago with them? Because I've seen it's a new one. Okay, because I've seen some sick videos of them parties.
That was deadly.
It looks sick. It was huge. The warehouse. Oh, the club.
I think it was
the club.
But that's what clubs are these days. So just big warehouses.
Yeah. But that's what I think the hangar vibe as well is what was so great about that, because if you got that warehousey vibe off it. It was like you went in there, you could buy 3 cans for £10. So you're walking around with a can in your hand in a place that felt like a warehouse. It
and
had that underground, really good underground vibe to it. Like,
yeah.
Whereas like Index have done a phenomenal job with their new club, I have to say.
I still haven't been.
You still haven't been?
No, sorry.
Oh
so not that there hasn't been any nights on. Like, I would have went to the reception one there, but
no, honestly,
I was on antibiotics, so I was just like, if I go, I'm gonna want to enjoy it. And if I go to Index, I want to enjoy my night, have a few drinks.
No, I have to give a big shout out to Fernando and Martin and the rest of the crew there. They've done an amazing job with it. Like, it's a proper suit. They got voted today 90th best club in the world.
I just seen that there.
No, I went for the opening night because Collie was playing at it with Dave. He was doing the opening set with Dave back to back, and we went in. And so, do you remember the old Opium?
Yeah.
Obviously, right. So on the ground floor where the dance floor is, at the back of it, there was a wall. They've now knocked that wall, so it extends all the way out to where the front window is. So it's literally the whole length. So it's added the capacity, but they've added a bar down there. And when you're down the back of the club ordering a drink, they've put a bass bin in and 2 tops. So as you're ordering a drink, it's like you're at the very front of the club. The music, the vibrations, the bass, it's like you're at the front of the club.
There's no sound loss.
It's not like you're just like miles away, big delay. There's none of that.
Nice.
It's like it's really... It's like you're standing right in front of the DJ when you're ordering a drink at the back of the club.
Didn't Polytonic do something similar with Jam Park? Didn't they have something on the floor or something? Or am I?
They probably did now, but I don't remember too much of Jam Park. I only, when District 8 went in there, I think I went to 2 events maybe, and that was it before it was gone.
I could just see rights the whole time. I just couldn't. It was never
the layout of it was it's the same as
rights.
They did do a great job. It was the lighting system they put in. It was like, obviously the layout and where the stairs were and out to the garden was all very similar as what it was with rights. But the colour of the club and the sound system and the lights, they did a great job. And it's the same with Opium. When you do eventually go, you'll get that same vibe where
the garden looks class.
Everything feels the same, but it's like the same entrance up the side beside the booth. But what they've done is, like, you know, that back where they used to have a bar at the back behind the DJ. Yeah. That is like a big giant LED wall now, and then they have the LED screen above the DJ as well, and then it has that like DC-10, nearly like Ibiza super club vibes where everyone's around the DJ behind them, and then at the front, and it's just sick. Like, you can tell that they definitely took influence from then I beat the super club kind of style
Yeah.
thing, which Dublin never had. It was like District 8 was, you know, very unique in its own way, and same with Hangar, it had that warehouse vibe, but we've never seen that kind of super club vibe
Yeah.
here. And it suits everything, because I was always kind of thinking at the start when they opened it, I was like, okay, yeah, but like, can you do multi-genres here? Can you make this techno-y as well as being housey super? And they've done a phenomenal job at that as well. Like, the lighting, the way they change it, the way the screens change, dark energy in the room, like it's sick. They've done a phenomenal job. Giant disco ball as well. That they shine the lights on.
I love
It's
a
like
good
painted
disco
black.
ball.
I'm just blown away by it. It's a super club. They've done a really good job. And
Right, Ryan, you're selling me. You should go promote for.
let's go. Come on, we'll go.
You
Let's
should go promote for them now.
No, it's no shout out to them, because again, there's not too many clubs left that are doing the business. Centrepoint as well is another one.
Yeah.
Have you've obviously been in
yeah,
since
yeah.
that new booth that they've done as well, where it's like step down. It's not a stage. It's an actual.
Someone
booth.
was actually saying that. I know I haven't been for that.
Yeah.
I was there for. I was only there.
It's probably still on.
I think
the
I was
stage
there
or
with
something,
you
was it?
recently. Maybe you were there. I don't know. I feel like you were. I could just.
What was it for?
It's a good question. Was it? It was something like. It was like he was kind of like Barry Can't Swim. Was it DJ? No, DJ Bourne maybe.
No, I wasn't there for that.
I just made it up. Ryan wasn't
made it up,
there.
yeah.
I just made it up.
You're imagining things. No, so have you been since they've put the booth basically essentially on the floor?
No, I haven't.
So yeah, they've done that, and then they've added like these mad lasers as well that shine out, and then like the lights. I don't even know how to explain the lights. I think they're called cam lights or something, but they're like, yeah, I don't know how to describe it. It's sick. Go and check it out. You'll enjoy it on Saturday. You're playing there Saturday, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it. Really good job at the club. So that's what I'm saying. Like, since COVID, the clubs that have remained, they've upped their game. They know, like, it's not just still the same club and the same. They've all upped their game. They've got new boots in, new lights, new kind of layout, which is great to see. Smaller clubs, even the likes of Tengu, kind of upped and upgraded their booth and stuff like that as well. So it's nice to see, but we'd like to see more clubs, but as you said, we can't fill them at the moment as it is. So like,
but do you know what I will say? Going back to like, it's almost like the TikTok thing. Not Index is not a commercial club by any means, but it would attract the crowd.
I think it's wrapped up that whole like, it's what's popular. It's like when District 8 was there, everyone went to District 8. Same with Hangar, when Hangar was there, everyone went there, and they've created this new community of people that that is the place to be. That's the place to go.
Exactly, and they're going to attract their friends.
It's a great thing, but does that have the feedback on the rest of the, not say clubs or collectives not doing as well or sometimes struggling? Is it because everybody's just going to Index? Everybody just wants to go to the big clubs and not go to the smaller venues and the smaller kind of, there's not as much energy in them. It's not as much, I don't know. I love a good sweaty basement over a big massive crowd, you know. Intimate vibes for me all day long, unless we're talking festival vibes now. Maybe that's a little bit different.
Yeah,
like, you know,
definitely.
You can't beat the roar of 20 or 50,000 people in front of you at a stage or something. But apart from that, like, yeah, definitely intimate vibes for me all day long.
Yeah. That's a really good point, actually. And I never thought of it like that, that maybe other collectives could be taking the hit for it as well. Now, it's great what they're doing, but they're obviously putting a lot more back out to us as well for us.
No, 100%.
Which is great, but maybe that's like, they've better production, they've better sound, and then they come to these other clubs that aren't
like,
as... It's an experience.
It's like you've gone there and you've gotten that experience, and then when you go to the smaller clubs, you're like,
you get a bit, like, even us, like, it's like us when we play a club, it's like we get a bit snobby about the sound. Like, I like the sound there. I don't really know how to play there. It sounds like great there. You know, so it's natural. It's human instinct, you know. And, you know, like, we like the finer things in life. It's normal. It's natural. It's...
Oh, sweet. Look, we'll steer in a little bit of a different direction. You've been a great host. I'm the host. You've been a great guest here, and you're well able to talk, and it's been a nice flow. Let's talk about, you were on the radio as well. You were on Spin. You were hosting Spin. Yes, tell us a little bit about that.
So I ran for a competition last year called Race for the Residency. The clue was in the title. You had to do loads of kind of little competition-y bits. So like I had to do a mashup, which I picked jazzy and piano. I kind of wanted to go something underground, but like not underground, but like something dancey and then something that was new. So I wanted to put something like that together for that, and that turned out really well. We had to do other little bits too, like we had to do kind of a few talking videos, and then there was a little kind of almost like a DJ off in Here and Now, and this was all decided by the voters and the listeners, whoever listened to Spin, whoever like was involved in that way or like whatever, but it was the public that had to vote who they liked. and who they thought was doing better at this or that or that. And like, do you know what? It was very close. It was really close, but I actually managed it. I still don't know how. I don't know why, but they picked me, and I was like, you know, it was a great thing. I've always kind of wanted to get into radio.
That's what I was just about to ask. Like, was that always a thing that you wanted to do or tip your foot at, or like, was it just something spontaneous that came along? You're like, do you know what? I'll fucking have a bash at that.
No, I've always wanted to like have my own little dance music show and share the stuff. Like, I was having this conversation with you earlier. I would like to be a taste breaker to someone. I'd like to play the party tunes, but I'd also like to show them something else. And I would like my own kind of little airwave to do that. I feel it's so important. And it would be able to kind of almost like transcribe me as a person, and, you know, and show the other stuff that I listen to. So I've always kind of liked the thought of having that.
Yeah.
So I definitely ran with that and used it to my advantage. Yeah. And I can talk shite anyway, so I think it was just...
And is it something that you're looking to kind of do in the future?
I would like to.
You'd definitely go back at it.
Yeah, I'd like 2FM or something, or maybe, or even 98. I'm a real 98 FM girl. I will at some point be back at Spin as well. So that's in the works. And I do still work closely with them.
Deadly.
So expect more from me. Just make sure to change the station from 6 to 8, you know.
As long as you don't go all Jeremy Dixon on us now and start getting political on air and giving out to us.
I've already been doing that.
Them clubs shouldn't be closing at 6.
No.
Get them closed at 12.
The price of a pint of Guinness.
No, happy days. It's been a journey for you so far anyway. Is there any other kind of highlights or standout gigs or moments within the industry that you would like to look back on?
I'd just like to bring Hanger back. It just, you know, not even me. Did
you get the opportunity to play there, yeah? No?
Not even the old District Day.
I got one warm-up slot in each. No, I lie. I played Hanger upstairs a couple of times, I think. And then I got one main room slot to warm up like Wade or something. You know that Spanish tech housey guy?
I was there.
Fuck off, were you?
I was there.
No way. That's gas. Yeah, so I done that one, and then for District Day.
It was you?
I
knew it was awful.
Me and Judgy. That was Judgy playing, not me. The awful set was Judgy. No, so I done that one. That was the only time I got to play Hanger. And then I think District 8, I got to warm up for Hudson's 82 with Collie. But again, that was just by luck as well. We were bringing over Sorley. Had a thing, your man Sorley from Sunderland, and he was doing the main warm up. And I noticed he had a 2-hour slot, so we were like, can we have the first hour? Yeah, can we have the first hour? So yeah, we were lucky enough to get to have that.
That's another thing you have to ask.
Sometimes
they're not gonna. People aren't gonna offer things.
Look, sometimes you've got to put yourself out there. Yeah, definitely. Like, I think over the years, anyway, it's something I miss, being that hungry. It was something I had when I was younger, and for some reason, it's just like it's not as prominent in me. I don't know why, but it's like the just not giving a fuck and texting anyone and whoever, like any crew you came across, you're like, that looks like a cool party, and you get onto them and you be texting them, hey man, what's cracking? Fucking, do you want to do a show swap? Like, whatever you could to try and get out to like wherever they're from, and maybe bring them over to where you're from, and kind of just create relationships and get opportunities. Like, never be afraid to ask for a gig, because it's not just going to come landing. Like, okay, some people might, here, do you want a gig here and there, but you're never going to go too far unless you've got to ask the questions. Like, you got to put yourself out there.
Yeah, like I've asked so many cheeky questions, and like,
by all means, the worst thing you're going to be told is no. You know?
Yeah, but like still, like I always feel mean or rude asking. Like I'd be like, oh, can I do this? Or, if I am on first, can I have an extra half an hour? Like, because I hate being on first and only having an hour or something.
That is, and then in fairness, that is.
I do think rough. Like whoever's on first get the hour and a half, or if there should be just 2 DJs on the lineup. Yeah. But yeah, you have to, like, you have to ask, because people aren't going to think of these things because they're too wound up in either run the night or getting other things sorted. So like, it never hurts to ask. And I got so many things from asking. Like I asked to play live. I asked, like, you know, don't get me wrong, like Sam had sorted it out, and you know, but I had like said to Sam or whatever, or like, and I still do to this day. He's pretty sick of me. Like, hi Sam, I just know this gig I'd really like to play. Like, I send it to him, and I'd be like,
but that's good.
Like, can you have a chat with them and see if they'll bite now? And like, that's the thing, is you can't wave a magic wand and just go, okay, I'll get you that gig. It's like like the promoter has to agree to this as well. He's just my talker to go.
But that's the joy of having an agent as well, because it stops that awkwardness of looking for like, oh hey, can I have this amount of money? Oh hey, can I have this? Oh hey, like, you don't have to be that. Oh, and then they might be, oh fuck you, and they're a bit annoyed at you. Whereas if you have the agent doing the official talk for you, they're like, the amount of times I've brought over an artist and let's say like their rider is like something crazy and they've loads of mad shit on it, and then like you're like, what? Okay,
Jelly babies.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. But no, I'm talking about like expensive stuff, like like could be bottled
like
Dom
Ciroc
Perignon,
vodka.
yeah, all this mad shit on it.
No, I just asked for jelly babies.
But then when they come over, it's like, I wouldn't actually, a lot of people just go out and buy it straight away and they put it on the table. When you go and collect them, or you have the driver collect them, or you're texting them on WhatsApp to organise stuff, I'd always just be like, oh, by the way, like, what are you drinking tonight? Do you want what's on the rider? And 99% of the time they're like, man, a couple of beers will do me.
Yeah.
It's just
low
the agent
maintenance.
but it's the joys of like the agent's able to do that, and the person's just going to go, yeah, okay, because whereas if that was the DJ turning around being like, I want a bottle of Ciroc, I want a bottle of you're going to be like, this fucking guy over here, like, you know what I mean? So it creates that like non-awkwardness of when you finally arrive at the party, you're not going to have the promoter looking at you going, you wanted this, that and the other, and then like, you know what I mean? Like,
you put me through hell.
Yeah, it's just like, that was the agent, sorry, that was the agent's fault, man, so sorry about that. Like, you know,
no, I told him not to worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry, like, Grey Goose will do, it's alright. Oh God.
But on top of that, having an agent is great, because not that like people would take advantage of me, but being a girl in the music industry as well, like if I ask for something, I could come across the wrong way. You know, I could come across as like a bit like, oh, she's a bit like much of a diva, or you know, or like, you know, or they might go, well, screw you, I'm not giving you that fee, I'm only giving you this amount. You know, it's an extra kind of security measure as well. That's nice, and like, you know, Sam's great. Like, no, he's been such a good help, and I'm so grateful for everything he does. And you know what, I do have his head wrecked. He's sick of me asking questions, but he's there to ask the questions for me as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I suppose tip on something there that you mentioned, obviously being a female DJ within the industry.
Yeah.
Now more than ever is probably a predominantly good time to talk about it, with the awareness being around. You remember that page that went live a couple of weeks ago, this men thing, and a lot of revelations came out of that. And I personally myself didn't realise how a lot of women felt within the industry, and how, I suppose, how daunting it can actually be being a female in quite a male dominant industry. Would you have any advice for maybe some female DJs out there that have been thinking about getting into it, or maybe it might be a little bit put off or scared after that page coming out a couple of weeks ago, and seeing some of the posts in there, they might be a little bit put off after wanting to chase their dream? Is there anything that you could advise, or maybe not just advice, but from your own experiences, like what is it like being a girl in the industry, and the pros and cons?
I've been very lucky. I really have. I do know what happens, and I not just being a girl, you know, these things are going to happen.
Of course.
I've never experienced it. I've never like heard any of my friends complain, or actually no, I tell a lie. I did have one friend say something, but me personally, I haven't had that many bad experiences. Actually, I haven't had any bad experiences.
No, that's good. That's good.
No, you know, don't be put off by it completely. Like, you know, everyone meets different people. Everyone's going to be doing different things anyway. Like, please don't let it hinder what you want to do in life. You know, you can't lock yourself away for that reason. And, you know, there are people there that will deal with these things. And, you know, you can always mention these things and stand up and talk. But no, I've been very fortunate not to have anything like that happen to me.
So your experience has been fairly positive of being a DJ.
I will say, on that note, I wasn't really a fan of that page. Like, I know, in a sense, I was, because it got everything out, and you know, but I just didn't like how it was handled. I thought like it could have been a nicer way, but you know, I feel like it was a lot of kind of pointing the finger and like tagging collectives because they didn't book girls. You shouldn't be booked on a gender. You shouldn't be booked by who you are. You should be booked like solely on your talent and what you're doing. And you know, it shouldn't boil down to like, oh, you have to have, for every 2 male DJs, you have to have a female DJ.
It's like, really discriminating in itself, though. Yeah, isn't it? It's kind of because you don't want that feeling of, oh, I'm only being booked because I'm the only girl on the lineup, or so, because that's not really fair. Like, any DJ I've booked, whether it's been a female or a male, it's always been solely down to their talent, the music they play, and whether their genre or the type of music they play fits into the gig that we're doing. It's never been down to because, oh, I need another female.
Exactly. And you know, and like, it's almost like a token thing now. It's like, oh, we better, like, it's a kind of forcing people into having to pull female DJs on the lineup, and that's wrong. Like, people like you run your own collective. You should be entitled to book who you want to book, you know. And as me, if I want to book 6 lads or 6 girls, fine, I should be allowed. I shouldn't be like I shouldn't be called out for it, you know. It's my night. I want it a certain way. I want a certain sound, and that's how it is. But I don't think people should be booked on their gender or pushed into kind of booking female artists for that reason, and that goes out to the promoters. But
but I suppose it can be. It's just going back to how daunting I suppose it could be coming into quite a male. Like it's very, as you said, like high energy, high kind of. If you're stepping into a club and you're like a girl going out by yourself, maybe your mates couldn't come along to your gig, like it could be a bit, you haven't got your girlie. Just like if I was to walk in, and it goes both ways, like if I was to walk into a party and it's just all girls and every girl is on the lineup and like there's no other males around, like I would feel awkward and kind of a little bit uncomfortable, like because there's no lad to just go, it's just natural to kind of have your mates there, have the lads there, have the girls there. So like it goes vice versa. It's not just about a girl being intimidated by going into a male dominant industry. It would be the same if it was a female dominant industry and I was to walk into it,
exactly. And I don't think that it should be a highlighted thing that like all there's males and there's females. We're all just DJs at the end of the day. We're all just doing it for music, I don't think it should be highlighted here and there what we are, what we're doing, or there's
a lot of politics attached to the industry, isn't there?
And it's great now as well. Like a couple of years ago there wasn't that many girl DJs. Now we've so many, and it's sorry, I was about to curse.
Don't worry, I already have about 4 times. You're all right, don't worry.
I wasn't sure if we were allowed.
We'll put the warning on the thing. Be grand, don't worry.
But it's great. And now like it's almost like we're like we've so much varieties of different styles, and it's a great way to be. But now it's almost like, how can I say it? I feel by like this page, it's kind of shone a bad light on the rest of us who like are just kind of ticking along with it and aren't kind of like fazed by what was going. Like not that the other stuff, but like I mean, it's kind of almost like it was starting trouble and making us look bitchy. Going, we want our kind of, like, there's too many of you guys. And I thought it kind of shone a bad light on us as female artists and kind of, like...
It was probably, there was just too many opinions. Like, I think whatever about the incidents that were coming up, incidents, by all means, they needed to be highlighted, and whoever needed to be shown was shown and whatever, that's fine.
But it was more than...
It was nearly like a bandwagon thing where people were just, like, jumping on... Like, I think there was one post that was something like, I was asked how long I'm DJing for. Would you ask another older male DJ how long he's DJing for? And my answer to that was like, yes, I would ask anybody that's DJing how long they're DJing for. Especially if like how long you playing? That's a generic question within.
You asked me.
Yes, like, it's a generic question. So I think there was a little bit of a bandwagon jumping that like, kind of...
They're playing on it then.
Not everything should have been posted, it was like, it should have been a little bit more pick and choose, and like the serious incidents, get them out.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not trying to play down, and it is quite a controversial topic to bring up.
No, fair play to that person who did bring all this tonight. Like, I do have that respect, but I think some things, I didn't really agree. I think it kind of made us look a bit bitchy. I think it made us look like little brats almost, like stamping our feet going, we want this and we want that now. Like, yous have had the scene for a while. It's our, I thought it was very like that. And I was like, oh no. But I will say, in regards to that, I can 100% hand on my heart say that the reason that I've probably been booked is probably because I am a female.
And do you really think that though? Like, it's not down to your skills? Because, like, again, we've talked about the whole multi-genre thing.
I don't, it doesn't define me. Like, it doesn't, but I'm sure, like, a lot of people have just booked me for, like, now I have no proof. But I always do like to think, if I was a boy, would I have had the same opportunities? Would I be in a better place? Would I be? It's like a what if kind of thing. Yeah. And I can't say I probably have been booked as the token child.
It's a fair point, I suppose.
I'm not complaining. I got gigs.
But it's down to, like, you can think that, but I've listened to your mixes. I've seen you DJing. Like, you've got the skills. You were taught from a young age on 1210s. Like, that I think really stood out for you. In terms of your selection and your mixing. And like, look at the Collie, for example, who was nearly kind of in the same position of you, has been taught young from his dad, and like, and 2 years are doing phenomenally well, and I think that stands for you because of what you were taught from a young age,
And I like
definitely. So it's not down to gender. Not down to gender. Like, that's down to skill and hard work. And
no, thank you.
No, so fair play.
I would say here and there they're probably like, just show her in the lineup. Haven't even heard her play, but she's fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure I have been that, and I own it. Like I've gotten like so many opportunities probably out of it, and like I've accepted it. That's what I am.
Fair play. Now look, we'll move off the controversial topic now.
Yeah, I my face is getting red. Like,
there's been a lot of controversial topics tonight. We're never usually this controversial, so we'll bring it back again. But interesting topics all the same, and it's nice to have a little bit of a different chat compared to the usual. Yeah. Where'd you come from? What do you play? And it's been a good chat. Is there anything else you'd like to highlight within the podcast? Anything you'd like to talk about? Anything you'd like to shout out or promote or anything at all?
I don't think I've too much. I would just say for anyone that is thinking about starting DJing, like, it's a complete lifestyle change, and it's probably one of the best things that you are ever going to do. You know, you meet so many people through it. Like, I wouldn't know Ryan. You know,
and many other people you do. That is the best thing I think about the scene, apart from the music, is just the people you meet. It's a whole community of people, and yeah, there's some poo heads out there, and there's also some very beautiful people that have beautiful souls, and they are. Thank you. No, but shout out anybody that is looking to start as well. Here's a little selfless, promotion here. But we're doing the DJ Academy, which some of you might have seen on some of the posts that we've had in our social medias. But it is something we're going to be kicking off in the next while. We've had a lot of people signing up, and there's a good bit of interest generated so far. But one thing I will say is there's not much female attention so far. We'll tip back to that little. So anybody, whether you're male or female, doesn't matter. But we would like to see some more girls coming through as well. Get on to us. We're doing the DJ Academy. You can check it out through the social media, anywhere in the links, the Instagram, stuff like that. If you go onto the website, illicitdublin.com as well, you'll be able to see a whole section dedicated to it. The whole curriculum is put out there. And you can get more info by just signing up and throwing your email there, and we'll get back to you with an email and let you know the crack. So there's a little self plug there I'm going to do myself.
I'm signing up after so I can learn your tricks.
Do the chops. Yep. But yeah, no.
He's a great teacher, I have to say. Like, honestly, I'm always like this when he's playing. I
appreciate it. And it's been slow. It's been a slow year, I won't lie, but I've been focusing. We're in the studio here now, and I've just been trying to focus on production, because I feel like you can only get so far as being a DJ. Really can. Like,
one thing I want to say.
Fire away.
That exactly what you said there. Like, everyone sees how great our lives are online, but they don't show you the battles of how up and down and inconsistent and how hard it is on your mental health, your physical health, everything. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. A lot of it is, but do not expect the best thing ever. Or
I'm so glad you brought that up. That's a really good point to make, because we are kind of being very one-sided here, promoting it, and it's good to create awareness around it, that if you are trying to get into it as well, yes, it is sunshines and rainbows, and then there's also a lot of dark clouds and a lot of thunder. Like, it can be detrimental to your mental health if you don't be careful. Obviously, the partying and everything that you can get wrapped up in as well, it's obviously part of it, and that's fair enough. Go out, enjoy yourself, go to the after parties, because that's where you make some of the best connections. Networking at the after party. Some people go, after party, they're just getting fucked up and blah blah. But no, after parties are essential.
They're business meetings.
They are literally business meetings. You meet like so many people there, whether they're going to be mates, whether they're going to be DJs that are going to play for you, or whether it's an opportunity for you to play somewhere else. That's where you meet them, is at the after parties, But with that, it comes like, you need to be set. You need to be getting your sleep in. You need to be getting your vitamins in.
You need to be looking after you.
You need to look after yourself, because this industry can eat you up so quickly if you don't look after yourself. Your mental health and your physical health can just deteriorate so quick if you don't look after yourself. Especially being being a DJ and then being a promoter, they're two very different things. But it's so quick to look at everybody else. You get so wrapped up in looking at what everybody else does in comparison. Comparison is one of the worst things you can do. Like, you're on your own journey, and just stick to your own journey and forget about what everyone else is doing. Because if you're starting off and you start looking at everybody else and you're like, well, why am I getting that gig, and why am I on that set, and why am I, it's very quickly like you're gonna be just messed up in your own head, playing with your own head. It's so, look after yourself. Have fun, be safe, but look after yourself, definitely.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, and I've had a horrible time with some of that stuff, and it's not that like it was no one else, it was just me being hard on myself. And it's essentially seasonal work. It's you're gonna get 12 gigs in this month, you get one here, you get this kind of slot here, you might get a little pub gig down here. It's very inconsistent, and sometimes you can feel like you're up here, and then other times you're right back down here. It's very draining, and you do really have to be careful with that 100%. It's so hard on your mental health. But I will say, like, it's also one of the best things you'll do. It's a lifestyle change. It can take you around the country. It can take you to different countries. It can take you around the world.
You meet some of your best mates as well. Like, some of the people that are my closest friends now. I wouldn't have met if it wasn't for this industry, and they're literally like brothers and sisters to me now, whereas I wouldn't have never met them if I didn't pick up a set of decks.
Like-minded people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you
that's
meet
the
your
other part
people.
of it. You meet your people. Like, you could go to work, whether you're working in like a shop or whether you're working wherever, like, it's always kind of an adaptation, because you could be sitting beside someone that's talking about football all day and you don't give a shit about football. And whereas when you come out like to this industry, you're meeting like-minded people that are on to the same things.
Yeah.
Although they're from different walks of life and different, like, that's just the beauty of it. Like, you're meeting like-minded people with different
Exactly.
stories and different backgrounds, you know.
It's so rewarding. Like, even I'll catch myself some days, like, and I'll be walking in the sun. I'm doing so great, and like, I've gotten this and I've gotten that. And then other days I'll wake up and I'm flicking through Instagram and I'm like, I actually haven't ever got booked for one of them gigs. I'd love one of those gigs, and I base my value on being booked for that gig. Like, it's wrong. It's wrong of me to think that I'm not worth anything just because I don't get booked by this promoter or that promoter. You know, and you don't get the gigs you want. I'm like, there's still plenty of gigs out there that I would love, and I'm not going to get, and I probably never will. Maybe I will, but that's also what makes it fun.
Definitely.
It's what motivates you as well.
Yeah, I know. I feel that 100%. Like, even as being a promoter, and then like not just being a promoter, but then becoming a venue booker as well, I kept steering myself away from being a DJ. Like, I started as a DJ, was known as a DJ, used to get 2-3 gigs a week, was really busy, and then the more I took on as a promoter and the more I took on as a venue owner, it's nearly like people look at you as solely a promoter. Like, they forget that you're actually a DJ, and just like, you just nearly stop getting booked because people come to you for gigs and they want the venue and they want gigs off you. But
it goes over their head.
Yeah, it's gone over their head that, like, Bob, don't invite me to your party. You know, that kind of way. But it's like, that's my own fault, because I got so lost in being a promoter and being a venue, and that I stopped doing mixes and I stopped creating content for myself and I stopped putting stuff out there. So people are naturally not going to think I'm a DJ if I'm not putting stuff out there anymore.
TikTok brain, people forget.
So yeah, like, it's and again, I got myself in a bit of a rut by thinking about that. Like, I'm going, why haven't I getting the bookings? Why are they going? Why haven't they? Or why aren't the gigs going as well?
I can play that sound. Why
haven't they selling as many tickets? Like, we sold out last year. Why are we not selling out? You know, all this kind of thing. It's so easy to get wrapped up in your own head. So, thanks for highlighting that. It's nice to be able to talk about stuff like that.
It is, yeah, no, I feel it's such a big thing, and especially for anyone that's thinking about starting, you know, it's a really big thing, and that's probably something that I would have liked to know going into all this.
100%.
You know,
definitely. I think we're starting to tip on time there now. Anything else you'd like to talk about or wrap up? Before we wrap up, would you like to highlight anything else or chat about anything else? No? Okay.
I think I've said enough.
It's been an
I think they're sick of me at this point.
No, definitely not. And look, we can do it again in a few months and chat maybe after summer, get you back in and see how your summer went. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I'd love that.
Kaycee, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks so much for having me again.
No problem, guys. That's been it for episode 5 of the Illicit Lounge. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you soon for episode 6. Boom.
Did I say